Hey everybody, welcome back to Chris and Andrew Outside. I'm Chris, and today we're outside on the Potholes Reservoir fishing for walleye. First time out this year. I'm going to see if we can catch anything, see if I remember how to do it. Sit back and enjoy. Alright, see that worm spinning there? That's what you want. That's the type of spin you want to have when fishing for these walleye. Look at that, look at that, look at that. As you can see, that worm is really spinning. There's several different walleye hooks out there that rotate the worm like that, so do a little research and see which one you might like. I like using them and I have good success with them. Got pretty warm out there both days that we were fishing, and you know, I like to protect myself from the sun, and I suggest you guys do too. Might look kind of funny, but it works. It keeps you from getting sunburned. So right here we're trolling along, and I actually had a walleye pick up my worm, and I could feel it putting a little bit of pressure on there and shaking its head. So I bent my rod down towards it a little bit just to relieve the pressure of the trolling part. And this fish is just swimming along with it in its mouth, but right there he actually releases it. I could feel him release it. So I just left it out there. I didn't think he did much damage to the worm. Now you see my friend pointing his rod back. He's got a fish hitting on it, and he's hoping that pointing his rod back and feeding a little bit of line will relieve some of that trolling pressure. The fish is still hitting on it, and he was able to get it to take that worm, and so now he's got it hooked. Bigger fishy.
Flex on the rod even. This is the hardest fight ball I've ever caught. That's awesome.
Catch it all the time. It's a bass or a catfish. It's a bullhead.
It is a giant bullhead.
That could be a state record.
No.
We got bullhead. Bullhead catcher here. Bullhead catcher. Bullhead catcher. Catfish hunter. Oh, I got a fish. Got a fish on mine.
See? That's what you get.
I know.
You get it one too?
This one's a walleye. Oh, it's right there too.
Can we get it?
Since you don't want to help.
Quit it.
That's what a walleye looks like.
Oh, here we go.
This is what a walleye fisherman looks like. That's that's what a bullhead fisherman looks like. You want to try him? You could throw it back. It doesn't matter. It's okay. I'm just saying that if you ever
stuck my hand on that good.
That's fine. Oh.
It's so slimy.
Grab his bottom lip.
Grab his bottom lip.
Yeah, grab his bottom lip.
Really?
Yeah.
Thumb it?
Yep, he's gonna bite you, but it doesn't hurt. He just has a strong jaw. No, I'm serious. He'll clamp down, but that's it. There's no teeth there.
Oh.
Come on, just grab it. You should get it.
He's gonna bite you. Well, then I'm not gonna grab it.
This one, you don't put your finger in
No.
his mouth.
No.
That one's got no teeth.
Now you tell me that he doesn't have teeth.
I say he doesn't have any teeth.
Oh, I
he's
didn't
just
hear
gonna
that part. All I
squeeze
heard is he's gonna bite you. That's what I heard.
He doesn't have any teeth. He's just gonna squeeze it. You know, I got it on video, so.
Oh, that's cute. That's fabulous.
Did you see that? He was afraid
That's fabulous.
of the bullhead. He pulled his hand back so quick. So I'm going to show you how I fillet walleye. It's not exactly the same as everyone else, but I start with taking the cheeks off. Even if it's a smaller fish, I try to take the cheeks off. I don't like to lose or waste any of the meat. I mean, we've got a really good fish, really tasty, and it gave its life up for me to have dinner. So next thing I do is I like to split the belly open. Even though I'm going to fillet it, I like to have a place that my knife can go and I can flip that meat open. So I cut down right behind the collar there and then fillet it out. And I cut right through the ribs on both sides. Leave the skin intact at the tail so that you can skin it a lot easier. Then flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now don't worry about those rib bones and pin bones being in there, because next step we're going to be taking care of that. So fillet this side, flip it over, skin it out just like the first side. Right here I'm washing off some of that yellow stomach bile or enzymes. If you leave it on the meat too long, it kind of messes it up a little. So there, the cheeks are gone, all the meat's gone from both sides, and I like to keep the board a little clean, keep the meat from getting too nasty. So down at the very bottom of the fillet, right where the tail section is, you can see where the top half and the bottom half of the musculature has a little bit of a split. And so I cut that open and peel it apart, and what happens is one half of the fillet will have the little bit of veins and the pin bones in it. Now it's sometimes the top half, sometimes the bottom half. Right here it's the top half, and so there's just a little strip there where you can see these little dark veins, and it's got the bones in it. So you cut it off to get it started, and then you can peel it. Now right there, sometimes it splits, so I'm cutting off a few extra bones that were still there. So the other side, it was also on the top half of the fillet. So put a little cut at the bottom, back of the tail section, and then slowly peel it off. You can see there it just peels right off, and it pulls all the pin bones, a little bit of the dark meat, and whatever little veins that are there. So the bottom half of the fillet, the lower part of it, doesn't have any bones in it. So I just cut that off away from the ribs. Then take the knife and float it over the top of the ribs to get that extra meat off. That's that belly meat. Now, sometimes you split some of the rib bones. You just have to take those out later. Same thing on the other side. Cut off the meat and then float the knife between the meat and the ribs. And you got a nice, usually boneless piece of meat there.
All right, everybody, it's been a really good couple of days here on Potholes Reservoir catching walleye. We've had a couple other fish hit, catfish, and I guess that's been about it. But we've had a good time catching these walleye. They've been hitting pretty decently. They're, still schooled from the post spawn. So it's been a good time. Like you guys saw, you get to see all this before you hear this this little speech of mine. So anyways, appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and like and subscribe and send me a message if you want to see more of this stuff. All right, you guys take care. Thank you.